Good afternoon, everybody. We seem to be going live here in a second. The countdown just started over on SRL. Welcome to another of the races of the Metroid Zero Mission Any Tournament. I'm Hey Tallman. I'll be commentating with you. We'll be commentating today, hopefully getting Destructor in here. But if not, I'll be holding down the fort. And it seems as though we're off. This is the HD remake of the initial Metroid game, before HD remakes were a real thing. It follows much the same path as the NES Metroid with a couple extra things thrown in here. We're going to have a good race for you today. Scotty is a very, very good player, though we have seen some upsets happen. And I'm unsure if Serberoth has started. Meanwhile, Scotty going through the first couple of rooms. I'm still seeing Serberoth on the title screen. Don't know what's going on there. Oh, there we go. Okay, they're off. Okay, Scotty with a commanding 40-second lead, 50-second lead. We see Scotty coming through one of the first real challenging platforming rooms of the game. The initial climb seemed to have a really clean climb up that shaft. Serberoth, meanwhile, picking up the Morph Ball, the first upgrade that you have to get in any category. The only guaranteed placement in Randomizer as well, because you absolutely need it to get through the third room of the game. Scotty coming up on the first mini-boss, the Charge Beam Worm. And he's going to be going for double missile shots on him. Let's see if he can get it on this boss. I believe it's a frame perfect trick, and he missed the first one, so he's going to go for it again here. And he missed the second one as well, so he's going to have to wait one more cycle. Probably going to wait for a couple pickups to come. Yes, and he grabs a couple missiles, and he is now up to 5. He's going to want to grab one more missile pickup, most likely. No, he should be fine for this hive room. Another one of the toughest rooms starting off the game. It's crazy. A lot of these any percent runs reset within the first 3 minutes or so, just because I believe we're pausing Scotty to get both streams caught up. But the upcoming hive room is one of the hardest rooms for how early it is in the game. Lots of resets if it doesn't go well. Anyway, we see Serberoth coming up to the Charge Beam mini-boss. We'll see how their fight fares. Okay, seems as I was a little bit behind. I have Serberoth on the boss. Oh no, did Serberoth miss their first missile? Oh no, this might be really bad for them. Oh no, they're not going to be able to get the charge beam. Unless they go out of their way to get it. That is unfortunate. Meanwhile, Scotty coming up to the hive room, gets the clean strat. And he's going to be going on to get the bombs. Now, Charge Beam is not a... Okay, it's not out of the way. Okay. I forget where it goes. I forget where the mini-boss goes. I am getting my delay issues sorted out at the moment. There we go. Hang on just a second, guys. Okay, sorry about that, folks. I got my delay settings sorted out, and we should be good. So I see Scotty is in Norfair. He will be going up to Chozodia to pick up a couple items, whereas Serberoth is just getting their bombs. I'm assuming that they also picked up the charge beam as well. So up in Criteria, where Scotty is, there are 2 items of note that we'll be picking up here. One of which is an unknown item, which will come into play. Oh, I think he got the JBJ, the jump bomb jump, but maybe he wasn't high enough. Anyway, we'll be getting an unknown item, which will come into play later in the game, and also the power grip, which is an item that is actually I don't know the details of it, but it is required for one room, I believe. Don't know the exact details of that, but it's something we need to get, and it certainly does help throughout the game to have it anyway. Okay, now Serberoth picking up their charge beam. And I believe I am now joined by Destructor.
I am.
Hey, Destructor, how's it going?
Hey, pretty good, thanks. How about you?
Pretty good. Can't complain. Mondays.
Yeah, get the feels. A case of the Mondays.
Shoutouts to Mondays.
Mondays Incorporated, so we're in for a good race, I guess.
Yeah. A little bit of a hiccup with the charge beam boss on Serberoth's side, but other than that, seems to be going okay.
Yeah, but things can happen, but oh well. He got out of high room almost without his life, but he managed to do it, so all things are good.
That's good. Meanwhile, we see Scotty finishing up with the Criteria segment. And he's going to be going back down in Norfair, and will eventually be heading down into the Ridley area of Lower Norfair. Normally, on a vanilla playthrough, you'd be fighting Kraid first, but the developers, good as their job as they were, intended a bunch of shortcuts that you can take. One of which being able to go down there and fight Ridley first.
Indeed, so the thing that Scotty is going to do right now is going to pick up his Ice Beam, so his second and only upgrade with the Charge Beam. So with only 79 health, I think he's still going to go for a heal skip, because that's one of the things that you can do when you're going for Ice Beam. Usually you'll see most of players just healing at the statue, because you'll need a lot of health and missiles for the upcoming Cook and Fight Ripper for Ridley. But if you have enough missiles, enough energy when you pick up the Ice Beam, you can actually skip the heal. And in Scotty's case, he only needs 1 large drop, so I think he's still going to go for heal skip.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. He's exactly 20 health off, so... Oh no, it looks like he's going for the heal.
Trying riffle glitch there. So what he tried is that he tried to land the bomb at a very precise spot, so he can literally morph into the item while it appears by being blown up by the bomb. And if you do it at a very precise timing, you can pick up the item and riffle your energy and ammo at the very same time, so it saves a bit of time, and it's a swag trick, but it's pretty hard, especially without high jump. We'll see a setup later on, a speed booster that involves the springboard that you get with high jump, but not this time, missing it, but at least you won't have any problems in terms of ammo.
Yeah, the spring ball setup is pretty consistent, right?
Yeah, absolutely. It's much easier, especially in the speed booster statue, because the positioning of the statue in itself and the timing for the spring ball is absolutely perfect.
Nice. Meanwhile, we see Serberoth coming up to the power grip. We'll see how they fare with their bomb jumps after they pick up their grip in this next room.
Scully killing some enemies and getting some of his missile drops before going to the corridor with all these vines that he'd probably get rid without stopping and just rushing through, getting some drops along the way. Indeed, jumping a bit to pick up some supers and some missiles rather, and 26 missiles is more than enough.
Yeah, that room can ruin you a little bit if you are just a little bit off of health. You can end up getting a lot of health drops and end up draining your missiles a little bit. I've actually come into this fight a little bit short before, and it's really thrown me off.
Yep, which was
just because I was careless
you
in
want
the
full health. Scotty having some troubles with the cocoon fight, but it's okay. Got rid of it pretty quickly, despite some mistakes compared to a perfect cocoon. Not what from we expect from Scotty, but oh well. We're all humans. Or is Scotty human? We're not sure. We're still not sure, to be honest.
I can neither confirm nor deny.
Yeah, that's a hard thing to confirm.
Anyway, Scotty is now in Lower Norfair, the Ridley area. This is probably the most dangerous aspect of any percent, would you say? This and Torian?
Definitely Torian. I think Ridley in itself, with the side open room in itself is real dangerous, but I would more consider Suitless Torian and the end ship to be much more dangerous than that, to be honest, but really depends on the player. So you see that the room Scotty's entering right now, all these enemies, we call the side overs, are doing 30 damages per hit, and they can quickly drain all of your life. And as you can see, he dropped more than an entire E-tank in this room, so he can quickly get out of control.
Yeah, Scotty took a little bit of a beating. Though I do want to ask, did you see the swag hop that he had over the pit block?
Yeah, that was pretty cool.
Show off. Maybe he isn't human.
I mean, as you said, we cannot confirm that.
Anyway, Scotty now comes and picks up his first super missile tank. This is normally on a vanilla playthrough, you'd have to fight like a wasp boss that comes from the cocoon that you fought in Upper Norfair?
Yeah, Imago.
Yeah,
that's the name of the kind of the bee, and you get your super missile tank, your first bomb missile tank, but by doing this, you can actually, it's not the first one you're forced to get, you can get different ones.
Yeah, and Scotty now picks up a second one, which will give a reasonably good missile count for fighting Ridley.
Yeah, from now on he's at 40 missiles and 4 supers, which is enough to kill Ridley. He will be, if you do like a perfect fight without missing a super or anything, Scotty, that was way too risky. What he did was he did something we call fast high door. Basically what he does is that he shots his super missiles on the high door while it opens, and he avoided its shot by morphing really quickly under the beam, but that's way too risky because I think the beam in itself does 30 damages and he was at 29 health. I don't think that he was actually aware of what he was doing.
We could have had a quick lead change just from that.
Oh yeah.
Anyway, Scotty making it through Ridley with 1 hit to go.
Yep. Usually it's not ideal when you make Ridley turn because it makes you stay in Ridley. What you want to do is literally damage boosting into him to shot all of your missiles, but when he turns you can lose a bit of time, and that can cost your life, but manages to survive with the perfect health count, so nice and clean.
Yeah, you get used to it. I recently started skipping the E-tank behind the Chozo statue, so there's definitely a rhythm to it, to wait and when to run in and where not to go against Ridley. So, I mean, Scotty's a very experienced runner. He certainly knows how to avoid dying there.
Absolutely, and he just avoided death again by the slimmest of margin. These owls are doing 40 damages per hit, and I think he got hit 2 times. Scotty's playing with death right now. He's toying. Death is his closest friend this very moment.
He's got to make up that time.
Oh.
the time off of his PB.
Yeah, but another ballsy move just to freeze that all right there. If he would have get touched, would have get at only 4 health left. But oh well, he's an experienced runner, but still, like, I feel like, I don't know, he's just going for crazy moves at this very moment.
Yeah. Going for any swag that he can possibly get. Meanwhile, we see
Absolutely.
Serberoth coming up to the Imago Cocoon. Looks like he froze the Ripper a little low.
I think he can still hit if he goes to the far right side. Yeah, that should be okay, but
I've definitely
he's not going for it.
He's going for some jump strats. There we go. He's a little higher now.
Yep, that should be enough, but it still wants 2 jumps. Fortunately, having a bit of troubles with its movement, so he's going to have to wait for another cycle. Seems like he doesn't opt for the wall jump strat.
Yeah, it looks like Serberoth was really concerned about their missile count. They seem to be pausing whenever there is any of the spores coming out.
These spores can be really annoying. Usually, you can waste a lot of ammo.
Yeah, they really can. And we see Scotty, who's just picked up his Air Jordans, his high jump boots. And will be making his way out of Norfair.
Not sure if you can find a pair of those on the black market even, or on the deep web.
Sure, there's a couple pairs floating around somewhere.
Maybe.
Oh man. You hate to see this happen against the Cocoon.
Oh yes, always a tough thing when you cannot freeze the Ripper at the very precise position you want it to be, but Serberoth is going for some wall jumps right now. I think he's unaware that he already cleared the right side, still trying to missile it. Seems like he understood right now. Okay. 4 more missiles and he will get rid of the Cocoon, but that's a hardship.
Yeah. Oh no, and they missed the freeze on the Ripper again.
He's getting there with the wall jumps though. 1 more shot and it's done.
There we go.
There we go. Meanwhile, Scotty going through the fall of Brinstar, getting towards Kraid. And one of the defying skip and tricks of the Any percent. Oh, nice strat. That is strat I was talking about a bit earlier on stream. What it does is that he literally frees the bat while it's falling to hop right onto it and get that E-tank. That's a really cool way to get it.
Yeah, that's
Well
beautiful.
done. Well done. Very smooth.
So we're coming up to, as I believe you said, one of the most important tricks, if not the most important trick of any percent, the Acid Worm skip.
Yep, definitely
normally,
what defines the category by itself.
Normally, when you get to this area, you would have to turn on the power and then fight this worm boss that lives in the acid.
Look the way he does it.
Ah, beautiful.
The grip method, that's just amazing.
That is a great skip. So we skipped the mini boss and turning the power on by doing a very precise bomb jump. There's a couple setups for this. That's the one bomb strat with a wall cling rather. But there's like what 4 or 5 different methods for it.
Yep, and that one is definitely one of the craziest, if not the craziest, of the conventional method. Like the fastest.
That was pretty swag.
Scotty's a showman.
Yeah. Opting to freeze the side hoppers in this room, probably because their missile count is quite low. You do need 1 missile to open the door to Kraid. So they fix their missile count perfectly there.
Usually what people can do as well is use a super missile since you only need 3 to kill Kraid, which is I'm really surprised to not see Scotty going for it since he's a good runner. I think he should be more confident about his abilities to not having 1 more supers on Kraid.
Speaking of bosses, what just happened?
I don't know, that was just a giant lizard. What was that?
Crazy that they just put this giant empty room in here that you have to wait a couple seconds to go by.
Yeah, fun fact, you can actually even skip the fight by getting over him. And then you can just pick up the speed booster. Here's the setup we were talking about earlier. There's the hill skip with the spring ball setup. The positioning is absolutely perfect.
Great job by Scotty. So now they're just going to go and exit Kraid and make the climb up to Turian.
Yep, getting the speed booster as a reward for killing that boss. I don't even know if you can consider it as a reward. It's more of a gift because there was not really any kind of difficulties behind the boss.
Yeah, though I will say getting the speed booster there just makes the exit of Kraid so satisfying because you use it in pretty much every room.
Absolutely.
And it just feels good to have.
Especially when you're going for acid worm skip, you're pretty much forced to use speed booster to get out, because the room that you saw him spart across, called the rear room with all these enemies right there, you have a very hard way to get through without speed booster, which is by doing around 50, if not more, or horizontal bomb jumps in a row with having to deal with the rears themselves, which is terrible, if not almost impossible.
Yeah, that sounds like something I would never want to attempt to do.
No. I've never attempted, but I'll never attempt it, to be honest.
Same. Anyway, Scotty now making the climb up to Torian. Gonna go right past the long beam.
While Serberoth is actually going for the riddle fight. Unfortunately, taking the super into it, he was too far into the eye door.
Oh well, there's a refill right before Ridley anyway.
Yep.
They're low on missiles, so I'm sure they'll be taking it. By low, I mean what? Don't you have like
take the
30 or 35?
In terms of missiles?
Yeah, I forget what your count is usually here at this point.
40 and 4, except if you pick up the extra thing before Cocoon in case you were low in missiles. It could be at 45. But yeah, it's 40 and 4 at this point.
Well, now Serberoth coming up to Ridley. See how their fight goes. They did pick up the safety E-tank, as you mentioned. So it should be a less... it should be a less exciting fight, though I believe I saw they missed a super.
Yeah, he tanked one, if not two supers, and he won't have enough missiles to kill Ridley. He's...
Oh no.
Oh my, he might die. He might die. The tail is gonna kill him.
Oh no.
That's rough. That's very rough.
That is unfortunate. Oh, they took a safety save.
Yeah, he took a safety save, so
he
might have expected it. Meanwhile, Scotty getting a double super drop from Metroid. It's very nice.
Yeah, that's beautiful. I was about to comment that they were down to 0 supers, that they really need to hit a drop, and then they hit 2.
Yeah, I mean, no problems.
And another drop.
One more super drop. He's at a very good counter right now.
Yeah, this is pretty much ideal for Torian as of right now.
It absolutely is. He's gonna use a bit more.
I would. Probably doesn't want to dip below 2, just because drops can be a pain.
Yep.
But one last room with Metroids in it for Scotty.
If he gets one more super drop, which he gets, this is going to be a really good Torian, or at least really clean. Actually helps to use a bit more supers to get his missiles back, which I definitely cannot blame him for. While unfortunately Serberoth takes another death from Ridley. That's a rough fight.
Yeah.
Now, ideally, Scotty wants 49 missiles and 4 supers, which he gets instantly.
That was a fast farm. You think we're going to see Zeb skip?
Zeb skip, absolutely.
This is a really cool trick.
He's going to get it second try.
Oh, good call.
I call it. There we go. So to the skip.
That's a really cool trick. It probably saves 20 seconds or so, about. It saves you a little bit of farming, basically.
Yeah, in itself, it's more about comfort. If you can get it perfectly, so almost first bomb or in the first bombs, but in itself, it's a very overrated trick. It's not a huge time save in itself. It's because it saves you from farming and getting Brimstone Super. But yeah, getting it in the first bombs like it is a huge time save compared to what you should have done if you wanted to missile the 2 first epitides, which we usually do, and get Brimstone Super.
Meanwhile, Serberoth taking a 3rd death to Ridley.
Yeah, absolutely. As John and Ivan are saying in chat, it's hard to estimate how much time save it really gives you. Yeah, it basically saves 14 missiles, absolutely.
Yeah, and it is a one-frame trick, the Zeb skip.
Absolutely.
It's an interesting. There's a consistent setup for it, but it's just you got to hit that one-frame timing.
Yeah, basically you need to freeze a Rinka at the very precise position. So the Rinka in itself is kind of midair when you're on a mobile enemy, and you unmorph right at the very frame your bomb explodes. You're in a state that we call a hovering glitch, and like this appetite physics is kind of weird, so you can get through it with this hovering state.
Man, Serberoth is just having some poor luck with Ridley today.
He's having a really rough time. The thing is that he isn't patient enough, in my opinion. He's just firing all of his missiles in diagonal and in all the directions, while he should actually wait for Ridley to just be a bit more static and go for some easy shots.
It also looks like they're holding back a little bit. That they are hitting more of the fireballs that Ridley is spitting out, so that when Ridley starts flying, they have more missiles that they actually need to hit him with, and ends up tinking some of those against Ridley's tail as well.
Not to mention that Ridley in itself, he's doing a lot of damages. So Scotty is now approaching the thing. One of the things he's notorious for, the map skip. Can he get it? Come on, Scotty.
This is the most important trick in the game.
Yeah, especially for him. But that looked close. I don't really know. I think it was pretty close.
Yeah, he looked like he was about to run into it.
Yep. Oh, and Serberoth finally getting the kill on the before last missile, I think.
Very nice. That was the last missile, yeah. Scotty, meanwhile, starting the suitless section, which is, I don't know if it's my favorite part of the game, but it's certainly one, like, in my top 3 sections of the game for me. I love this part a lot.
As a speedrun, it's pretty exciting because you have a lot of different tricks that can make you save time, and you especially play on the way pirates and the alarm are working. As you saw, he went for a skip that we call tripwire skip. He destroyed the ground that was under him and went for a wall jump to avoid triggering the laser that was below him, and that saves some times because along your way through the ship and even through the chosen rooms that we'll see a bit later, there are some barriers that will raise if the pirates see you and the alarm is on, and by not triggering it, basically you don't have to wait for the alarm to be cancelled, and the barriers won't spawn, so you can just run through it without having to wait.
Yeah, it looked like he was a little late going into the spin. Do you think maybe he was considering doing the newer strat, the hover strat?
Yes, I've seen doing it a bit earlier on his stream, so I don't know. But he got one of the tricks that we call fast searchlights. Basically, when you saw him going through some searchlights, and usually you want to wait for the lights to be in a certain position to go through them, but there's like a 2-second time save trick that is very precise. So you crouch right under the lights, and it's a tough trick because the frame window is less than 10, if I remember correctly. But hey, saves 2 seconds, and it's pretty cool.
Yeah, it is. It is pretty cool to see. I unfortunately I'm not good at doing it, so I usually opt for the 2-second slower strat myself.
It's a hard one and not necessary, actually.
Yeah, because if you fail it, it ends up wasting a lot more time than you would have.
Yes, that's the thing. It's a costly trick. Yep.
Meanwhile, Serberoth making their climb out of Norfair, picking up the last couple items in this area. Scotty having a pretty clean suitless so far, I would say.
Mm-hmm.
He's coming up on the Sam strat.
Yep, one of the other tricks.
I believe it saves like what, like 1 second or so?
I would say more because... Oh, and he actually missed it.
Oh no.
I don't know what happened. So what would have happened is that the pirate that you saw on the right side of the screen when he went down should have been turned, his back turned to you, and the alarm should have turned off. But for some reason it didn't. And you see right above him there's a barrier that's activated. So to make the alarm go off faster, he just enters the save room and gets out of it. It's faster to do that than wait in front of the barrier a bit, but usually when you get that strat that we call Sam strat, you don't have to wait or go into that save room, so it saves a bit more than 1 second.
Yeah, but the good thing about that trick is it doesn't waste any time if you... It only wastes 1 second or so if you fail it. It really is not much of a time waster, so it's...
Yeah.
It's pretty easy to just go for it every time, which I see the chat is giving Scotty a little grief for not attempting it. One person, Ivan, asking him to apologize to Sam.
Damn it. Oh, and here's already the No You Infinity fight going to the chat. That's just crazy Ivan argument right there. 100% Ivan.
Okay, Scotty on the last real room of Suitless. Just a lot of space pirates waiting to eat him downstairs, but he gets the deactivation, is on his way to Charlie, everyone's favorite boss.
Especially for any percent, and yeah, because it's full of RNG basically.
Scotty's got a lot of health. Do you foresee him going for the damage boosting strat?
He definitely will. It's not like he has one E-tank and for the last cycle he will be one shot. He has two, so even if he goes for all the damage boosts he wants, he will still be at 149 health. So even in that state he could afford to take 2 hits. So he will definitely go for it. There's no reason not to.
Well, let's see how it goes. Bless RNG for Scotty. I guess we should talk a little about this fight as well. This is sort of Samus's trials for getting her power suit back. You're going to see Scotty moving left and right constantly because there's some thunder that can appear above you and strike down. But if you're moving, it won't. Oh no, he misses a shot. If you're moving left and right constantly, the thunder will never appear. In the later stages of the fight, there's thunder that appears in the middle of the screen. But if you ever see the thunder, you know that it won't be right above you. So it can make shots on Charlie a little tricky. As we saw, he missed one, but he gets the other 3 in quick order.
Yep, and you saw him shooting his own reflections because when you do that, on average, the symbol, the fact that you can shoot yourself to, or shoot the symbol rather, to damage Charlie's, because on average it will save around 1 second. For some reason, it will appear 1 second faster.
And is Serberoth going to fight the Acid Worm?
Yep, absolutely. He isn't going for Acid Worm skip currently.
Okay. Well, I mean, that's smart if you just are not confident with it. You have to, every time you fail it, you have to reset the room, and it costs, I believe, about 16 seconds to 20 seconds or something like that. Yeah,
20 seconds or something. It's really long to go back and then go back to the tree. You can do horizontal bomb jumps, but that's really, really hard. And seeing the level of play that Serberoth has shown right now, he doesn't have the caliber for this kind of trick.
Look at Scotty with that shine break.
Yeah, this shine spar actually saves a few frames if you do it perfectly.
Serberoth also picking up an extra E-tank going this way, so that's always helpful as well.
Mm-hmm.
And here comes the Acid Worm fight.
Usually one of the things that you don't see in any percent, but will for this run.
Yeah. Well, at least he's got supers for it, so it should go decently quick. But yeah,
it's
not the most optimal strat for the boss. Typically, you would get the boss to stick against the wall, jump in the acid, and just spam missiles up into him.
Mm-hmm. Meanwhile, Scotty exited the ruins and is now in the Space Pirate Mothership. and on his way to fight Iron Ted, Mecha Ridley.
And you see Scotty now at 6 super missile tanks. He did pick up 1 right when he got his suit back. Iron Ted, aka Mecha Ridley, as some call him, dies to 6 super missiles. And so it's a pretty tight fight if you can nail them all real quick. It's a really fast one too. Not as fast as Kraid, but pretty quick in its own right.
Yep.
Meanwhile, we see Serberoth finishing up with the Acid Worm, so he should be going down to Kraid's area now.
Yeah, and we haven't explained why we actually casually kill the Acid Worms, because it triggers this zipline. Yeah, you can see right now on Serberoth's screen, these red buttons. When you shoot them, there's a zipline that comes along, and you usually need that one to cross the Acid Pit, but with the Acid Worms here, we don't need these. We can just get over it.
Yeah, you do see the Acid Worm in 100% because these ziplines are pretty much required for a couple of the items.
And also because there's one missile tank under the Acid Worm, basically, so you need to kill him anyway.
That's right, yeah. It wouldn't quite be a 100% run without that one missile tank, huh?
Mm-hmm. Would have been a 99, and yeah, that's... when you do 99% when you're supposed to do 100, it always hurts.
Let's make a new category. 99% no Acid Worm. How does that sound?
That could be a cool thing. Yeah, you could technically do that. I think you don't need a zipline anywhere except the moment where you kill Acid Worm to get the missile tank is under him.
I'm assuming. I know there's one. I believe there's one missile tank that's over like 20 crumble blocks or something like that. But
yeah, any tank. But yeah. You don't need the zipline itself, you just need Speed Booster.
Anyway, Scotty now coming up to the Mecha Ridley fight. After these slow crumble blocks, we should see Mech Ridley crawling up to him.
And you'll see how fast it is. Basically, he will only wait for Mecha Ridley to swipe with his claw and just... Okay, there we go. And he's gonna shoot all 6 of his super missiles nice and quick, no problems.
Great fight for Scotty. It would have been just a little bit better had Mech Ridley swiped a little sooner. It looked like he hesitated a little bit.
It's part of RNG. You cannot control that, unfortunately.
What can you
Going
do?
for a door bomb, but waiting for the 13th beep from the alarm. Here's your tip: if you want to go for a door bomb, just drop it a bit after the 13th beep, and you'll get it.
I believe Sam said the other day that it saves like 8 frames or something like that.
Absolutely, it's really not worth going for, but hey, if you can get it perfectly, just do it.
Meanwhile, Serberoth now coming up to his Kraid fight. Let's see how this goes.
And you think 3 supers on Kraid, unfortunately. Kraid basically needs 15 missiles or 3 supers to die, so he'll need to hit him 10 more times, and to open its mouth you have to shoot it with a missile. Also, concerning Scotty's pace, he definitely is on 38 pace, which means that if he gets that final trick, the ball spark, the escape ball spark, it means I won't have to play MZM Any tonight. So please, Scotty, don't miss it.
Well, so far so good. He's just got to get through this one last room, curl into a ball, and then...
And gets it perfectly. Usually, yep, halfway through you want to do another Shine Spark to kind of store your speed again and give yourself a bit more time, but hey, we don't have time for this.
Yeah, so this is the final room of the game. There's 2 black pirates that need to die for the escape ship to open. There's a really interesting strat where they just kind of stick on the corner of the wall. Scotty's positioned perfectly to kill them, and this will do it.
And that's it. That's a GG for Scotty, finishing his race with a 38:38. Official
SRL time of 38:40. But 38:38 sounds better. It's the same number twice.
Yep.
And we see Serberoth has just finished Kraid. So GG to Scotty.
GG to CScottyW. He's our winner today.
See, if serberoth is gonna finish this one out for us, just grabbing his speed booster.
And hesitating, pressing the inputs. Okay, he's gonna do it. I felt like he was just pausing and maybe seeing what was happening.
I did see that he posted in the SRL chat telling Scotty GG. It looks like we're gonna carry on with the run.
Yeah, let's continue. I mean, there's no reason not to.
It was a little too far to the right to get the speed boost going to break these blocks.
Yeah, you just have to enter just a bit the kind of tunnel that makes with the platform to get enough speed to break these blocks. Aligning for the shine spark, get all the way up to the very top of the room. And he seems like he actually wants to go for the shine spark, but since he activated the zipline, he doesn't really need it, but oh well. Show us what you got.
Oh yeah, I totally didn't even think about it.
Unfortunately missing it, but hey, now I just realized I've got this and I've got missiles. I can get rid of all these Rios and get across the room without problems. Trying to shoot a missile early to break the block and not having to bomb it. Fortunately not morphing fast enough. And making his way out of grade.
So I believe I saw that they picked up, 2 extra missile tanks. I think they're at a max of 60 missiles.
He is right now, yeah. And I doubt he will go for Burnstar Super, but I don't know actually, so let's wait and see.
Yeah, you never know. I mean, there's been so many strats that have been on display during this tournament. We've seen a couple Kraid first, which have made for really interesting races. There was one in the first round. It was I forget who was in it. It was Garnatrex and I am totally blanking on their name.
The first opponent of Garnatrex was Mandatobi, and Mandatobi actually went for Kraid first.
That was a really fascinating race because I personally had never seen the any percent Kraid first.
Neither I, so that was really cool. Like I watched the VOD, I was like, what are you doing? And seeing like how close it still was, that was very exciting. I mean, almost made me want to do any person Kraid first against Garnatrex, to be honest, but I started to work I started to work on it. Like actually I wanted just to give some honor to Mandatobi because he is one of the guys that made me want to being involved in the community, because when I started I was a bit shy just to talk with everyone, and he asked me to do some races in 9%, and that got me into all these runs and all the things that I wanted kind of to give him something back, but oh well, I didn't want to work on that right, so just went for the usual route.
Yeah, that race was fascinating to me because first of all, I hadn't seen the Kraid first. Second of all, when it was all said and done, when they converged on Turian, I believe after Mother Brain, they were about 10 seconds apart. They were very close to each other.
Yes, and even Mandatobi went for heel skip at Useless. So he was one shot all the way, and a single contact with the pirate would have been a death, and he didn't save. So yeah, that was definitely one of the most interesting races of the tournament. One of the closest, actually.
Not as close as mine.
Oh yeah.
Which mine ended up being less than a second apart, which was fascinating.
Serberoth now in Turian, facing all these Metroids.
So the big trick here is to not get grabbed. Being grabbed usually ends up eating about... Oh no, they just... with 2 supers. Getting grabbed usually ends up eating about 75 to 100 health. And
yeah,
the worst...
I think it's 1 health per frame when you get grabbed.
And the worst thing about all this is just that the way drops work, if you're lower on health, the game thinks, oh, they want health, they need health because they're not at max health. So the game tends to drop more health when what you really want is missiles to kill all the Metroids quickly.
Yeah, but fortunately, super missiles aren't working this way, and doesn't matter your health count. Super missiles have the same odds to drop. Doesn't matter your health count, so that's one of the advantages.
Yeah, I believe supers are a little less than 10% from Metroids and Green Rinkas, or is that just for Green Rinkas?
I know for Green Rinkas, yeah, it's 9.7, but I cannot tell for Metroids.
Okay.
And seems like we've been joined by someone. CScottyW, hello.
Hello.
GG.
GG, Scotty.
So thank you very much, because I don't have to play ZM Any tonight.
Yeah, I guess that was a good deal for you.
Yeah, I'm feeling pretty happy, and my predictions were on point. Like, I even called the second bomb zip skip, and you got it. Like, should I play Lotto tonight or something?
Yeah, I kind of want to rewatch that because there was a lot of fun stuff happening in that run.
Yeah, that was pretty cool. Also, I want to ask you, when you went for a fast eye door, does the beam of the eye door does 30 damage, or is it just the eye?
It does 30. I only had 29.
Yeah, are you crazy? Like, did you only see it after, or you were like, oh, okay,
No,
I'm just gonna morph under it?
I was well aware.
There's some hardcore clench going on in both the commentator booth and the chat with that one.
I know, I was watching the chat, it was very entertaining.
I bet.
Yeah, and even when you got through the first owl rooms, you got hit twice, and you almost got hit another time when you were at 39 health. You avoided death one more time.
Yep. I don't know how much damage the owls do though, so I wasn't
40.
particularly worried. Oh, 40, okay. So yeah. I should have been worried.
You should have been worried. That's the thing, it's exactly what I said. The guy doesn't know the risks, and yeah, hell yeah, it works. It works his way, apparently.
It worked out. It all worked out.
Yeah.
Ignorance is bliss, as they say.
Absolutely.
Is 38-38, is that the fastest we've seen in the tournament so far?
Yes, it is.
Oh, cool.
So that was an incredibly clean run. Aside from the aforementioned almost dying to the eye door.
And yeah, I think like we take the SRL time, so officially it will be a 38-40, but still that's more than impressive.
Yeah, I split really late on there, like 2 seconds late or so.
It looks like we're seeing Serberoth breaking some of the Zebatites and going back to farm for round 2.
Sounds like he actually wants to break the last one. Yep.
This is something that I really wish I knew how to do, because all the time that I've been doing any percent, I've been doing Zeb Skip. So whenever I don't want to do Zeb Skip, it's just like, I don't know how much ammo I need to use. There's a lot that goes into it that you don't actually know about, just looking at it face on.
I think you need to kill the first 2 Zebatites, then go for 54.
I always forget exactly how many I need after I've broken the first 2 or 3 Zebatites, so I end up farming way too much on my second round whenever I don't go for Zeb Skip.
Yeah.
Like, I'm at like 47-4. I think I'm good for 1 more Zebetite to break.
Sure.
Is this enough?
Well, it's only 7 per Zeb and 35 total for Mother Brain. So you need 15 and 4 if you've broken all of them. You know, Dragon Fangs, I have done Brinstar Super, but I don't do it often. Like, I do it if the run needs it.
Like if you take a fall in Ridley before your second super tank or something.
Yeah, if I don't have the ammo that I want, I'll do that.
Yeah, I believe we saw that yesterday in somebody's race. They fell in the column room in Ridley and then went for Brinstar
it was in my race versus Garnitrex. Unfortunately, fell. No, he didn't fail. What he did is that he only had 1 super, to break the super missile block to get your second super missile tank, but unfortunately missed his shot.
That's right. Yeah, so I mean, Brinstar Super is a good backup to have. I believe they're Serberoth should be good on ammo. I think they're just wanting to get back to full.
Yep,
Well,
he's
they're
full
at,
right now.
They're at full.
The very minimums that he needs would have been what is it? 42, if I'm not saying.
49
bad
and 4
things.
if you broke 2.
He broke 3 of them, so.
Okay, so
But
yeah,
it
42.
seems like he already broke all 4 of them, so. He only needed 35 and 4 actually, but he wants to be sure since he had a lot of troubles on Relay managing his ammos and he died a couple times on Relay. I guess he just wants to be sure.
Either that or he's just got a really good vendetta against Mother Brain.
I know I do. Excuse me, Mother Brain can kill runs very easily, especially if the rinkers are not favorable.
Yep.
Yeah, or if you're just a couple pixels too close to the eye and your super missile tinks, then you have to farm a couple drops from the rinkas, and that's always fun.
Yeah, you can either be like slightly too close or slightly too far away. You can't just be sitting anywhere on that pedestal.
Serberoth is
taking a few dives.
He's close to dying, fortunately. He's taking a lot of hits, and
Serberoth.
he's gonna die. Yep.
Oh no.
That's unfortunate, and I wonder if he actually wants to continue right now, and you're still in the SRO lobby, Scotty, I guess you can tell us, but he might have forfeited.
No, he has
No,
forfeited
he has
the
not.
race.
He has, okay.
Oh, he did, I did not see that.
Yeah, that is. I've lost runs to Mother Brain recently, and that's just, it's never fun.
Yeah, it's always painful to end it this way.
But GG to Serberoth as well.
Mm-hmm.
Just pulling up the bracket here. I believe, are we going to try to get Serberoth in for some commentary real quick? Anyway, Scotty's next opponent is Neon Fuzz.
Well, Serberoth's next opponent is going to be the legend SN Idiot, aka SN Ivan. But, oh well, just change your names, no problems with it.
And then I think I'm going to play the winner of that race, unless I beat Eagle.
I mean, you never know. Yesterday, Eagle said that he was not confident about his play. Like, he saw me playing and it was like, do I actually have to practice? That's literally what he said in chat. I was like, man, are you crazy?
Nah, he doesn't have to practice.
I mean, if I'd have to pick someone like to win the tournament right now, just seeing how Scotty played tonight in stream and in the race, I've got you number 1, dude. Like, there's no way. I don't know about Sam because he has been doing a lot of runs lately. I don't know what's and how he's doing right now, but holy hell, I'm literally seeing a Sam Scotty Grand Final.
Well, I'm sure either way, the last matches of the tournament are going to be fantastic either way.
Absolutely.
Has Serberoth said anything about joining commentary?
Not yet. Nothing from aware.
I have not seen. I'm not in the SRL channel anymore though.
He hasn't said anything. I asked him in the SRL channel, but he hasn't responded.
I'm gonna try to ping him in CM.